Now let's break down two $10 million price predictions. One from Adam Back, an early Bitcoin OG, the Blockstream CEO, many consider to be Satoshi. We also have Finney. He is a legend. May he rest in peace. He is no longer with us, but he was the first one to predict a $10 million Bitcoin price just like a week after the inception of the Genesis block all the way back in 2009. So let's break this down, because for this to take place and happen, we're talking about hypothetically a $200 trillion market cap. And a lot of people ask, is there even that amount of wealth in the entire world? Absolutely. The total addressable market, just FYI, is north of 700 trillion. So anything is possible, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. So let's break this down. If you're excited, let me know who is tuning in the live chat, where you're tuning in from. And again, at the end of the show, give everyone a shout out and we'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Let's break this baby down, shall we? Here we go. Blockstream CEO Adam Back believes the price of Bitcoin can reach $10 million per coin by the end of the sixth halving in 2032, as long as Bitcoin layer 2 tech and wallet infrastructure improves, which we all know it will. In a Twitter thread, the Bitcoin Core contributor explained to his 500,000 followers under what situation Finney's 10 million price prediction for Bitcoin could come true. Adam Back noted that Bitcoin had doubled in price year on year on average since 2013. That's an entire decade of doubling. That's what's up. And explained that if the trend continues, the Bitcoin price will reach $10 million per coin, along with a $200 trillion market cap in around 9 years' time. Let's read this Twitter thread from the one and only Adam Back. Early this year, I was curious at the claim, Bitcoin 2x's per year on average. But guess what? It checks. The decade from January 2013 to December of 2022, Bitcoin went up 2x per year, which is 1,200x in a decade. If that continues, we will cross $10 million per Bitcoin and a $200 trillion market cap by the end of the next two halvings in roughly 9 years. And in this diagram, it shows you no coiners is currently 7.7 billion and Bitcoiners with 100 million. Now, he also goes on to share that 200 trillion is Finney's 2009 Bitcoin market cap prediction. It is a lot. It displaces a significant part of the store value premiums in bonds, real estate, monetary premium, gold, 60 to 40 stock portfolios, and etc. Something adoption will slow, derivatives reduce volatility. And let's read this original prediction by the one and only Finney, may his soul rest in peace, as an amusing thought experiment. Imagine that Bitcoin is successful and becomes the dominant payment system in use throughout the world. Then the total value of the currency should be equal to the total value of all the wealth in the world. Current estimates of total worldwide household wealth that I have found range from 100 trillion to $300 trillion. So with 20 million coins, that gives each coin a value of about $10 million per coin. That's what's up. Send it and let's go. Adam continued, I am not sure about the adoption slowing nor the volatility reducing. There are other factors. The new cycle of people who learn to hodl and stack, who over time make it their mission to buy and to cold storage as much Bitcoin as possible, even resorting to leverage, volatility creator. And he continues, adoption could have hyper Bitcoinization spurts where rapid viral adoption nukes a weak currency in a hyperinflationary frenzy and domino crash 20 bottom tier currencies. People get pragmatic, adapt fast if they see fiat melting, a rush to others protecting savings via Bitcoin. Also, bear in mind, Bitcoin, pun intended, right? Bear in mind, Bitcoin does not have to absorb anywhere near 100 trillion to reach that market cap. Pay attention. Due to the relative thin trading and hodl cold storage investors, if Bitcoin really gets moving, it'll become harder to get anyone to sell, have to pry it out of their cold wallets. Preach, especially my long-term hodlers. Where you at? He continues, given the volatility, I think Bitcoin can overshoot widely and tap one of these 100 to $300 trillion market caps, correct, and then regain a steadier adoption over time. I suspect people with average entry points relative to then current price won't have much incentive to sell in size. So it is true. There is some, in effect, Bitcoin rehypothecation via side contracts like perpetual futures. However, reality is there and not really much naked short interest. So most of the shorts are delta neutral, collecting funding rate on US dollars and by matching physical Bitcoin collateral. The market in Bitcoin native financialization is immature, also untouched. Bitcoin structured products, mortgages backed by real estate, but interest guaranteed by BTC. Other products make Bitcoin easier to use for more people. The match risk profiles, which creates more growth. And I'll leave you with one more insight from Adam Back. So I think this will get interesting over the next two halvings, and fast. We don't have much time to scale tech. We need somewhere for the next billion users to own their own UTXO, their own keys, with censorship-resistant cold storage without remaining main chain security. So there you have it. Now back to the infamous Hal Finney, as Dr. Bitcoin points out here. You think Bitcoin Twitter is bullish? Hal Finney was calculating one Bitcoin price of 10 million per coin just 1 week after the Genesis block on January 3rd, 2009. Let that sink in, fam. He also noted the Bitcoin's acceptance rate would be slow at first. This is still clearly evident a decade later, as very few people on the planet hold more than one of them. Quoting Finney, one immediate problem with any new currency is how to value it. Even ignoring the practical problem that virtually no one will accept it at first, there is still a difficulty in coming up with a reasonable argument in favor of a non-zero value for the coins. He went on to work out to a total household wealth at that time, which estimated to be 100 to 300 trillion. And again, he said even with only 20 million coins, that would put each Bitcoin at roughly $10 million each. Now, it appears that their little experiment have been a wild success, clearly, wouldn't you say? Despite just a fraction of the world's population holding and using Bitcoin, obviously the price continues to skyrocket over the past few years and has become a disruptive force that it was intended to be. The governments and central banks are rattled, which means the Bitcoin has the potential to become the dominant payment system, though 10 million bucks per coin is probably a little far-fetched unless there is hyperinflation. I mean, that's a possibility as well. Finney, who said computers can be used as tools to liberate and protect people rather than control them, was noted cryptographic activist and cypherpunk. He created the first reusable proof-of-work system before Bitcoin all the way back in 2004. And in January of 2009, he was the first recipient of a Bitcoin transaction, and since has sadly passed away in late August of 2014. So there you have it, fam. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Adam Back's $10 million price prediction, along with the infamous Hal Finney, may his soul rest in peace. What are your thoughts? Do you think this can happen by the year 2032? What is that? Another 9 years away. I mean, anything is possible. I'd love to see it personally, but let me know your thoughts, fam. I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Now, if you gain value out of today's show, the greatest compliment you can do, smash that like button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications.